Greetings, citizens and AI. We're back at Studio B, so apologies for the background noise. We're going to go straight into it from ABC Australia. Donald Trump found liable for sexually abusing writer E. Jean Carroll in civil trial. Now remember, this is a civil trial, not criminal. And I am certain that Trump thinks that he didn't rape her, Ms. Carroll, because she is not his type. He has been charged with battery, not rape. It's not enough, but Trump's Oompa Loompa army will riot if a more fitting sentence was passed. And what's a fitting sentence? The imagination goes wild. It must be time for... Our lead story is the most important story you will have heard this week from The Guardian. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg wins medals on jiu-jitsu debut. I'm reading. Tech billionaire, 38, surprises onlookers by winning gold and silver medals at tournaments in Redwood City in California. Mark Zuckerberg, I said Zuckerberg, is adding one more title to his resume, a medal-winning martial artist. The Facebook and Meta founder won gold and silver medals at his very first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament in Redwood City, to the shock of many in the martial arts community and probably more widely. The 38-year-old tech billionaire, we seem to be repeating this, said he took up an interest in the sport early on in the pandemic, and he posted his win on Instagram saying, "Competed in my first jiu-jitsu tournament and won some medals for the guerrilla jiu-jitsu team." Mate, we know why you won. You control our information highway. Of course you won. Of course this is about your killer instinct and not about that time you were forced to sit on a booster seat back in 2018 when you were testifying at Congress. You showed your face was an open book and then you went meta. You, like Eminem, are the white goat of white goats. One of those two is worth it. Look, I'm not Zuckerberging up to you, okay? But could you please stop casting your shadow on my information sharing? Mine is not a highway. I'm not racing. And I know, that's why you're scared. So we're going to go to NY Times. Imran Khan, Pakistan's ex-leader, is arrested. Mr. Khan, a former cricket star, has staged a comeback since being ousted, openly challenging the powerful military. His detention raises fears of mass protests, and he was just shot, or an assassination attempt. That's all I'm going to read, because I'm actually, Australia, we've got to deal with things in our region on our home soil. So this is from ABC Australia, 3 headlines, one after the other. Peter Dutton warns a threat to working poor in budget reply lacking a big picture. Now this is about the budget. Next headline, Federal Budget 2023, winners and losers. Federal Budget 2023. Does a budget focused on the cost of living mean inflation and interest rates could get worse? The fact that a budget made by a government for the people actually has a profit and loss issue happening, a winners and losers thing, and that because focusing on the cost of living, which is going up, so it's actually going to get cheaper to be dead, over the fact that we actually do need taxes, because this is how we get to live in this infrastructure, this concrete jungle that us, sophisticated monkeys needed to dwell in. I'm going to leave these links here for you. It's all just driving me a bit bonkers, all this stuff, because the cost of living, and that's what they're doing. They're driving us bonkers enough so that even free-thinking, loudmouths like myself, I'm too tired to say, hey, a cockatoo just flew past. These are the benefits of being at Studio B from ABC Australia. Look, I haven't had that much time to curate from diverse sources because this is just a 2-person production house and some of my departments were taking self-care days. Headline, PNG Prime Minister James Marape calls for nation to forgive Foreign Minister Justin Khatchenko over primitive animals comments. Now, just some background on Khatchenko. He is Australian-born from Melbourne. He's a naturalized Papua New Guinean citizen in 2006, and he is now the Foreign Minister of Papua New Guinea, and his surname origin is Ukrainian. Let's read. Prime Minister James Marape has asked the people of Papua New Guinea to forgive the country's Foreign Minister, Justin Khatchenko, after he apologized for his primitive animals comments. Mr. Kachenko made the comments during an interview with the ABC on Wednesday in response to people criticizing his daughter over a TikTok video she posted. In a statement issued late on Thursday, Mr. Marape said he was also offended by the remarks but had accepted the minister's apology and asked all Papua New Guineans to do likewise and forgive him. What is with these people? They are traitors to their country. We should not be labeling our citizens as primitive animals, even if they have wronged us, he said. The TikTok video, made during a PNG taxpayer-funded trip to the coronation of Charles, the King of England and colonized people's owner, was tagged Aussies in England, blessed, bless, and flaunted cocktails and lavish meals at first-class airport lounges. This is the daughter of the foreign minister of Papua New Guinea. It triggered widespread anger in Papua New Guinea, where almost 40% of people live below the basic needs poverty line. Basic needs, and they live below this, according to the World Bank. This Kachenko creature said, "My daughter is absolutely traumatized by these primitive animals, and I call them primitive animals because they are," says this Kachenko said in the interview. Wow, I'm angry. I can't even make fun of this anymore. I'm furious. How dare he? PNG opposition leader Joseph Lilang said Kachenko's racist and very derogatory comments were insulting to Papua New Guineans. Frankly, humanity, not just this region, not just Papua New Guineans. We're from Fiji, so solidarity with Papua New Guinea, and also because I love Papua New Guinea and my husband grew up there. But this is just, he needs to be sacked. The opposition leader is calling for him to be sacked. He needs to be sacked. The government, a government MP, Belden Nama, the chairman of PNG's Parliamentary Committee on Foreign Affairs, said if Kachenko did not resign as a member of Parliament and renounce his citizenship, he should be sacked and have his citizenship revoked. And I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with that. This is shocking. When you pledge allegiance to a country and you go into service as a government official, you are there in service to these people that this has come in and called primitive animals. Oof, if the Pacific region decides to just, link arms and stop fighting amongst ourselves, this petty bullshit, you can bleep this out, my darling, or keep it. Anyway, let's go. More old white men and the powers they wield. So Peter Hollingworth, from ABC, hands back permission to officiate at Anglican Church after investigation finding. Former Governor-General Peter Hollingworth has given up his permission to officiate as an Anglican priest. A church investigation last month found Dr. Hollingworth committed misconduct by knowingly allowing pedophiles to remain in the church when he was Brisbane Archbishop, but concluded he was fit for ministry if he apologized to victim survivors. In a statement released on Friday, Hollingworth said he had returned his permission to officiate, commonly granted to retired priests, allowing, and I'm quoting him, "allowing me to conduct services at my local parish as well as marriage, funerals and baptisms. As Archbishop of Brisbane," and I'm reading, "from 1990 to 2001, I was ill-equipped to deal with the child abuse issue." If you're human, you are equipped to deal with the child abuse issue. And like some other church people, was too defensive of the church and the advice of lawyers and insurers. So you obviously can't think for yourself, well, that's a given because you're a priest, so of course you've got to echo somebody else's words, and also you're the Governor General. What does the Governor General do? Basically be a spy for the owners of Australia. Right, let's continue. Hollingworth said he was concerned his continuing function as a bishop was a cause of pain to survivors. "I want to end distress to them and division within the church," he said. Hollingworth said he notified the church leadership of his decision earlier this week. The former Archbishop was Australia's 23rd Governor-General. You know why he resigned? He just removed himself because he doesn't want to apologize to the victim survivors, because he knows he will be held accountable, and he knows he's got to answer to these people. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to stand and face it. These people are cowards. They hide behind their titles and their privilege and their colonizership, and these are the people we hand power over to blindingly. We're so blinded by the whitewash. And I say this being someone who loves living in this world. I do love the white stream. As I said, I am not racist because we can't be. I'm not speaking Hindi or, any other language to you, mate. I'm speaking English. I'm not racist, certainly. I'm certainly not bigoted. I have white friends. We're moving on. There's a reason why I want to get off this planet, but, with my life. And this is what this beanie is from The Dish. It's one of my favorite places to be, and I've introduced Duane to it, and he loves it too. This is how I call home. Anyway, from Sydney Morning Herald, space is hard. Duh. Why Japan had to blow up its $2.2 billion rocket. In March, a next-generation H-3 rocket launched from Tanegashima Space Center in Japan. The rocket was carrying a 3-ton Earth observation satellite with an infrared sensor that could monitor ballistic missile launches in North Korea. 14 minutes after... I have to call home. Seriously, it's getting too much. 14 minutes after liftoff, Japan's space agency issued a self-destruct command. The rocket, which cost 200 billion yen, $2.2 billion, I think Australian, Australian, to develop, $2.2 billion Australian to develop, rained down in pieces off the coast of the Philippines. The second stage engine had failed to ignite. And I'm not bothering to read the rest of it, but the head of the Space Center said, sometimes you're just going to blow things up. And, it's got nothing to do with any missile launching and stuff, monitoring in North Korea. Nothing. Still ABC, but this is from The Conversation. And you will understand the segue here. We can't get off this planet, might as well get high to elevate our senses, because down here, we've got to deal with Hollingworths and booster boys. Anyway, from ABC still, I said, the secret world of Sydney's psychoactive cacti growers who tend suburban gardens of peyote. Mescaline produces altered awareness. No. I think what it may do is actually, the doors of the duplicity may just start to open once you clear the fog and, that is clouding our minds. I'm reading. A different sense of time passing is what mescaline does. And it changes visual experiences. So, makes you think? Makes you see the world clearly? Okay, sure. Well, sign me up. Sometimes perceptual experiences become enhanced, even euphoric. Some people I've spoken to, according to the author, have had bad reactions such as headaches and dizziness. Yeah, because not everybody is equipped to handle this stuff. And so when it goes into euphoria, then that's a problem. None of this is supposed to be oblivion. None of this is supposed to be escapism. People are cultivating things, especially the white stream, because they're looking to get off this planet without actually leaving it. And the only way to do it seems to be drugs. And a lot of the things that they discovered before about all these things like LSD and mescaline, these were just enhancers. They help us actually latch on to the things that make us feel safe. So we begin to think outside of our confines and we feel safe. So these things are supposed to be some sort of flotation devices in our brains, really. But of course, the weak people take it. And when the weak people do these things, it's not the best representation of anything. I'm going to continue reading. Today is a Meet the Mescaline Plants Day, says this author. Clouds start to cover the garden and a few spots of rain fall. I want to photograph all the cacti. I asked Graham why he started his garden. His answer, to eat it all. Now, you'll have to read this article. It's a bit whimsical, and it's not a news article so much as an experience article, which is what we do on the Starlander. The articles we have here are all about the experiences and the feelings of intelligence and human existence. So, the author asks, why am I roaming around the suburbs of Sydney seeking out gardens of psychoactive plants? Sister, look, I know. Plant people are different from mainstream people, and that I know too. Look around me. I developed, and I know other plant people will understand this, this is a definite energy transfer and interaction. I talk with my plants. They tell me that we can feel them. I feel them breathing. They can feel me. Whenever I'm dehydrated, I actually look to them first. And maybe this is all psychosomatic, and this is, watering them is a placebo for me, and tending to them is also just a manifestation of what I should be doing myself, and is an expression of what I should be doing myself, self-care for self. But plant outside of care is also self-care. But anyway, so plant people are different from mainstream people. This may be because some microdose or imbibe plants for a hallucinogenic experience and know things that others may not. Or maybe it's because they spend so much time caring for plants. Either way, this is the position I have put myself in. That's that. So yeah, there is some sort of out-of-body experience because what we're doing is connecting with our cousins. We are all from this planet. We all come from this soil. We are custodians. From Space Focus, a computer scientist explains why you're probably not living in a simulation. Look, this is a fantastic article. I'm going to read. Such fears of a technological singularity where progress becomes uncontrollable and irreversible ignores the wider and very real world that we live in and the difficulty of the problem. It took 13.8 billion years to make the universe, the observable part of which comprises 1,080 atoms. Simulating this level of complexity needs resources, knowledge, and time. Our world has limited resources. Now, look, I love this article, but I don't quite agree with this writer. And we talk about it. Duane and I talk about it a lot, these things, on Radio Fly. And I'm pretty sure we have talked about this, that I had explained that this could, this writer says that this is not a simulation. But I feel that what if simulation is just evolution? And what this is all right, it's just AI. We are the AI. We are the authentic intelligence creating helpers and aids. So listen in on these episodes, the recent ones on Radio Fly. I assure you I'm not all tongues like that. Anyway, so how's that for a crossover plug? I know what I'm doing here, creating a media empire. Watch out, Zuckerberg. Authentic intelligence is coming for you. How are you? It is a roller coaster time. How's your personal roller coaster? It's tiring. I spoke at an event called Women with Vision last night, and it is such an honor to be, and very humbling to be asked to do so, because when women with vision recognize that you are a woman with vision, yeah, it's quite something. That's when you think, okay, I'm doing something. And it was a room filled with strength and other women with vision. We don't all have to be on a stage to be a role model, That's not what a role model is. It doesn't require fame. You can be sitting at a table, you can be sitting in a corner. As long as you are showing you are you and behaving with integrity. But last night was amazing. Every single word that came out of my mouth, even done in the way that I do, which is digress and bing, zing, zing, zing all over the place, the structured scatterbrain, I call it. And I've also talked about this with Duane on Radio Fly. So many women, so many people resonated with this. I could see it in their faces. And you need to understand, this was a room full of strong Pacific women. I am from Fiji, but I am of Indian ancestry. Now, there's not really a lot of understanding in that regard, but we won't go on to that. But I feel very blessed and very privileged and very honored and very humbled to have a lovely relationship within a community that I was born into. But because of my race and my ancestry, I'm not considered part of. But anyway, so it was really lovely to be there. So the words that came out were like sparks, and they flew, and they created a glow and a warmth. It was a real glow up in that room, and they touched and sparked and ignited a fire in so many people last night. It was so wonderful to see and experience and be the recipient of. So I think we're all getting ready for something, and that's called truth. I had said that for me last year, 2022, was the year of truth, and I was going to stick to it, and I was going to do it regardless of how painful it was, and is, and continues to be. But once you have truth, you have nothing left to hide. You've got truth on your side. So, let's do it. Let's go. Ready? Fire. Aim.